In this lesson, we will be looking at adding some more rational expressions. This time we are adding fractions, and if you remember that when you add fractions, you need a common denominator. So we will talk about that. Okay, same rules apply here even when you have variables in your denominator. So if I am looking at these two denominators right here, and I need to find the common denominator, kind of think about doing it with your numbers first and then with each variable sort of separately, okay? So if I'm looking at comparing 15 and 18, I need to have a number that 15 and 18 both go into. If worst comes to worst, of course you can multiply them by the opposite side, multiply 15 by 18 and multiply 18 by 15, but sometimes there's a smaller number that they go into, so you need to kind of figure that out, okay? Then you're going to look at the x variables. Notice this one has an x, this one does not have an x. And then compare the y squareds, okay? So if we look at 15 and 18, 15 and 18 both go into 90. X has to be x. And then when you look at your y variables, you're always going to need to pick the biggest exponent that you see on each variable. So if I'm choosing between y squared and y squared has a bigger exponent, and so my common denominator will have to be y squared, okay? So my common denominator then will be 90, x, and then y squared. That's my common denominator, 90xy squared. Okay, so I'm starting here, and basically I need to turn my denominator, each denominator, into 90x squared. So I need to figure out what do I need to multiply 15 by to get 90. That is the first little step there. What do I need to multiply 15 by to get 90? And you need to multiply 15 by 6 to get 90. So I'm going to multiply this by 6. And then notice this side over here, the left side, is missing an x. This one has an x, so I don't need to do it, but the left side is missing an x, and this one already has two y's, or y squared. So basically I just need to multiply that left side by 6x, and when I take 6 times 15, of course I will get 90, and then x, and then a y squared. If I do that to the bottom, I need to do that to the top as well. And then over here on the right side, what do I need to multiply 90 by to get 18 is the point in question. And if I multiply 18 by 5, that gives me 90, so I'm going to multiply each of these by 5. This one has the x in it, so I don't need to worry about it, but it only has one y. So I need to multiply by one more y, so that when I multiply y times y, I get y squared. And then if I do that to the bottom, obviously I must do that to the top as well, so that it's like I'm multiplying by 1. Okay? So then, right here, when I combine these two, 6 times 7 is 42, and x times x gives me x squared. And then right over here, I have the 5, and then y times y would give me y squared. So here's where I'm at. Of course, on the bottom, just double check this. 6 times 15 is 90, x, y squared. And over here, 18 times 5 is 90, x, and then y times y gives me y squared. So make sure both of your denominators are the same, which they are here. And once you have common denominators, of course, when you add fractions, you add the top and you leave the denominator. So basically, I'm going to combine these two on the top. If I had like terms that I could combine, I would combine my like terms, but x squared and y squared are not like terms, so I can just write it as 42x squared plus 5y squared. And then, of course, your common denominator is 90xy squared. So that is this one. Okay? All right, you can kind of try this one on your own. If you understand this, you can fast forward through this. If not, I will kind of go through it. I am looking at what my common denominator would be here between 6b and 14a squared b squared. And if you're looking at your common denominator, 6 and 14 both go into 42. And so 42 is your common denominator down there. This one, if you look at 6 and 14, they both go into 42. This one has one b. It's going to need one more b. And it does not have any a's in it. So this will have to, I'll have to get an a squared in there, and I'll have to get one more b in there. And then, of course, I will multiply the 6 by 7 to get 42. Okay? So that's why down here, I am multiplying by 7 a squared b. Okay? And then over here, 14 times 3 will give me the 42. I've already got the a squared and the b squared, the biggest exponents on either variable. Okay, and so that's why it looks how it does right here. And then when you multiply the tops out, 7 times 5 is 35. A squared times a squared is a to the 4th. And then you have a b. And then on the right side, 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, and of course the bottom, we know the common denominator is 42a squared b squared. Put that all together in one answer with your common denominator, and it should look like this.